Namaste and good morning, everyone. Let's do some prayers. Om Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parbrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Bhurбhavасвah, Tatsavitravarenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimani, Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat. Asto ma sadgamya, tamso ma jyotirgamya, mrityurma amritam gamya. Om sahna bhavtu, sahna bhunaktu, sahviryam karvavahi, tejasvinavaditamastu, ma vidvishavahi. Om shanti shanti shanti. Today we are going to talk about personality. Personality. In the history of mankind, great personalities appear from time to time. And they shape the world during their lifetimes. Their marvelous achievements dazzled the eyes of people for a while. But when they leave this earth, they are immediately forgotten also. The reason being, appearance of greater and stronger personalities with extraordinary brilliance, who made their hold strong on their minds of people. Their achievements also in life that made them great people, but does not add much to their personality. That's why we got to understand what this personality is. The real personality, which is based on character, is remembered by the world through eternity. The number of such people, though small, can definitely change the destiny of mankind. There's always a great interest for personality development. I'm sure when we were younger in our elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, we heard about these words. We got to learn to know the difference between the change and the development. It is quite possible to change our personality overnight. Going to the beauty parlors, hairdressing, expensive clothes, jewelry, cosmetics, high-heeled shoes, expensive purses. Sure, they can do some magic. But that change is temporary. Does not help to develop our real personality. In order to understand the development of the personality, we got to remember the 4 dimensions of human personality, which is physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual. There has to be a harmonious growth of all these aspects because they all together constitute the real personality. We must strive for sound health, a strong mind, pure intellect, and also spiritual growth simultaneously. The key word is simultaneously. Let's look at the physical dimension first. Our rishis, what did they say? That human body is a rare gift. This gift is given to us by God. And good health is the source of happiness and success in life. Since the body and the mind, they are closely related to each other, ill health causes mental worries, even depression. And a person cannot pursue a definite goal in life. Our ancient rishis, they said, Shriram Adhyam Khalu Dharma Sadhanam. The body is the means for the pursuit of the good deeds. So if we want to walk on the path of the dharma, this body is needed. Without this healthy body, we cannot do it. So it's our duty to maintain good health. We must develop muscles of iron and nerves of steel. So that's why the yoga sadhana teaches us how to keep this nervous system strong too. Not just the radiant skin, but very strong and healthy body. A healthy person always keeps his mind cool in all circumstances. Healthy person can perform the duties efficiently, enthusiastically, and cheerfully. So the development of physical strength, which is indispensable to serve others, to protect our self-interest, should not be ignored. Physical health. And habits play a vital role in developing physical dimension. Habits. We all know that bad habits such as drinking, smoking, drugs can do great harm to the physical health, making a person weak and even susceptible to chronic diseases. It's like a poison. We must be very careful and should never fall a prey to such harmful habits. Even the company of such people who are the victims of bad habits should be shunned at all costs. The influence of bad company is very harmful to the children also. So as parents and grandparents, it's our duty to keep an eye on that. Children, very tender, very immature, very easily they succumb to temptations of bad habits. So developing good habits regarding food, regarding sleep, exercise, and even work is the secret of good health. So practice of yogasana and pranayama is the most effective method to keep the body fit. Once you learn it, In your own home, you hardly need much space, no equipment, just willpower to take care of this body. Very effective method to keep the body fit. But we must practice it regularly, and we learn it from a very competent teacher first. In ancient India, not too long ago actually, because my own Guruji, he started his career of teaching from Gurukul. So Gurukuls were there at that time. Learning in the Gurukul system, students used to spend their early days in the company of enlightened teachers. When we watch the videos or the life stories of Lord Krishna, Lord Ram, they went to Gurukuls, Guru's house. By practicing strict discipline, such as brahmacharya, physical austerities, service to Guru, study of different branches of knowledge, they would attain tremendous energy within themselves. Actually, their memory got so sharp, they were capable of retaining all the Vedas in their memory. And that memory stayed strong until the end of their life. I still remember my own Gurudev Ji on the deathbed at the age of 95, reciting the Ved mantras. Most of us, we could not understand at that time what was he saying in Sanskrit. But later on, when I looked at some of the Upanishads, he was reciting the Ved mantras. Overindulgence in sensual pleasures makes our senses bereft of vigor and strength. And that kind of a body is unfit for higher achievements in life. Some people argue that our saints, they were married. Sure, they were married. But they had tremendous control over their senses, even in their grist ashram. By the practice of brahmacharya, a person can easily transform the sexual energy into ojas, which makes the brain and the nervous system strong, which brings new vigor and enthusiasm in blood. So single-pointed concentration and memory power are the results of brahmacharya. That's why Rishi Patanjali, in the scheme of the Ashtanga Yoga, he put brahmacharya over there. It's a great reason for it. So nutritious food, regular exercise, cultivating good habits, self-control, help us to improve our health, which forms a part of personality development. Because developing this personality is not just a wishy-washy thing, but to work on it. But to understand it, what are we doing? Let's look at the mental dimension, because that was a physical dimension. The mind is superior to the body. We all know that. Superior means it's subtler than the body. It is the mind that makes the body, but not the vice versa. Mind, what is a mind? Mind has a flow of thoughts. Negative and evil thoughts make the mind weak. Weak and uncontrolled mind always comes to temptations. creating havoc with a person. The habit of brooding over failures gives rise to negative thoughts. So the remedy for weakness is not brooding over weakness, but thinking of strength. The real hero with a strong mind is he who welcomes challenges in life and faces them with boldness and courage. That's a hero. Such a person can cross all the hurdles which come out successfully like a lion. We have to learn how to face fear, troubles, and ignorance. Violence, crime, killing, committing suicide are the outcomes of weak minds. Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that such a mind acts upon us like an enemy. He says one should save oneself by oneself. One should not lower oneself. Why? Because oneself is verily one's own friend, oneself is verily one's own enemy. We have all studied this verse in chapter 6, verse number 5. Udhret atmana atmana, na atmana eva shanti. Atma eva atmano bandhu, atmana eva ripu atmana. So the strong and disciplined mind acts like a friend, but the weak, uncontrolled, and frustrated mind acts like an enemy and leads to destruction. I have few observations about the strong and the weak mind. What is a strong mind? A strong mind always remains calm, even in adversities. Number 2, a strong mind never succumbs to temptations and develops tremendous courage to say no to immoral thoughts and actions. Learn how to say no. Number 3, a strong mind always remains free from prejudice, suspicion, and jealousy. Because those are the weakness of the mind. Number 4, clarity of thinking makes it possible to take right decisions and comes to right judgment. So that means there has to be a clarity. In a strong mind, there is a clarity. No haziness. Strong mind will never indulge in wrong actions. That's number 5. Prompted by evil emotions such as desire, anger, greed, fear, hatred, etc. Strong mind will always guided by serious, deep, right thinking. Number 6, positive thinking, concentration, fearlessness, adventurous nature, and self-confidence. These are the vital qualities of a strong mind. Let me repeat it. Positive thinking, concentration. Because who's concentrating? Mind is concentrating. When we tell our mind to concentrate, it should concentrate. Fearlessness, adventurous nature, self-confidence. These are the vital qualities of a strong mind. Opposite of that, let me tell you what is a weak mind. Number one, a weak mind gets irritated and loses temper over trifling matters and reacts violently. That's a weak mind. Number two, a weak mind can easily succumb to temptations like bribery, stealing, lying. Number three, due to confusion, suspicion, prejudice, it fails to take the right decision. It will make impartial judgments. Number four, a weak mind always compromises with and surrenders to evil deeds. Number five, a weak mind cannot face challenges in life and tries to escape from them by adopting easy and cheap methods. Number six, a weak mind always takes recourse to crying, weeping, grumbling, complaining. Number seven, a weak mind never appreciates good qualities in others. No appreciation. Last one I have, a weak mind has the main characteristics as restlessness, fear, tension, laziness, frustration. So whenever we see those characteristics, got to get out of those. Because even a weak mind and uncontrolled mind can be controlled by applying a strong willpower and regular training. Just like anything in the nature, mind is made out of Prakriti, it's a changeable. It's our duty to change it. Just like body needs nutritious food, and we see that body, if it's a sick, if we take care of it, it becomes healthy. Wounds get healed. From the diseases, we become healthy. The same way, the mind, when we fill with good ideas, when we pay attention to it, a weak mind becomes a strong mind. A dirty mind becomes a clean mind. Thought power is a great source of strengthening the mind. Mind is just like a laundered cloth. Whatever color you dip it in, it will take the same color. And our actions are the concrete forms of our thoughts. Because actions come later. First, they are thoughts. Thoughts are the parents of our actions. So once we change our way of thinking and develop a habit to think noble and positive ideas, it will bring tremendous change in our conduct and behavior. So we got to know our thoughts. Underestimating our own capacity and constantly thinking in a negative way, such as, I am good for nothing, I am hopeless, I am worthless, I am a sinner, is the prime cause of mental weakness. There's a tremendous amount of power hidden within all of us. And positive thinking is the only way to bring it out. Remember that. With the negativity, you can never bring it out. The habit of reading good books will strengthen your mind, like a wholesome literature, which always provides healthy food for our mind. When we study Bhagavad Gita, when we study other scriptures, even when we read the autobiographies or the biographies of great people, when we talk about them. So selection of a good reading material, company of good people will certainly enhance our mental strength. We must cultivate the habit of studying the Bhagavad Gita, the Upanishads, and other literature. We should do it ourselves in front of our kids and grandkids. So they are encouraged from a very early age. When there is enough strength in the body, we can understand, assimilate, and practice these positive ideas in our life. We all know that often evil company, vulgar and cheap novels, movies, they create a mental perversions, resulting in all types of psychological complexes and even the weak nervous system. So we must carefully avoid such things, the negative things. So through the practice of regular meditation, it's quite possible to improve our mental strength also. So practice of meditation helps us overcome the negative thoughts, even depression, tension, and restlessness. It makes the mind steady by controlling negative impulses and emotions. It helps us directly by erasing the bundle of tendencies from the subconscious mind, which is the root cause of problem. These are like accumulated tendencies, which are the product of our own past thoughts and actions, which we call sanskars. So meditation helps us in replacing these negative and undesirable tendencies with positive and divine thoughts. So positive thinking, the habit of reading good books, practice of meditation are a few means to improve our mental strength. Because only then we will form our personality or develop our personality. Third dimension is intellectual. So physical, mental, intellectual. The third is intellectual. Intellectual strength is superior to physical as well as mental strength. So that's why it's very important. So this intellectual faculty is present in everyone. But in most cases, it remains dormant due to lack of proper training and intellectual exercises. So this buddhi is there, but it doesn't get developed. Especially these days with excessive use of modern electronic gadgets. human being has been converted into a machine. We have the smartphones, the computers. They are keeping everything in their memory. And we human beings are keeping our memory underdeveloped. Originality, creativity, deep thinking are taking leave of mankind. And artificiality, imitation, shallow, superficial thinking are making their presence felt everywhere. Creative thinking is absolutely necessary. Because deep thinking brings out the hidden talents in human beings in the form of inspiration, which is possible only through the power of concentration. The power of concentration helps us to grasp subtle and higher things. And that is the role of the intellect. Right now, our senses and our mind are restless. Since the intellect is superior to senses and the mind, only intellect can bring them under control, actually. So we need to develop tremendous willpower to control the mind, fix it on higher things to achieve success in life. And the other function of the intellect is to discriminate between the right and wrong. Mind does not have that capacity. It can provide you a number of solutions for your problems, but it is for the intellect to choose the right one. Because we all know that this world is a mixture of good and bad. Unless we cultivate the power of discrimination, we will not be in a position to discriminate between the right and the wrong. There is a bombardment of information through the technology right now. So it's so important for us to develop the discriminative faculty of the intellect. To be able to choose the right from the wrong. If we keep going lapping up everything available on the multimedia without discrimination, we will definitely end up in trouble. Once the mind gets addicted to such things, it's difficult to get out of their clutches. So we need tremendous intellectual strength to control the vagaries of the mind. We must know the difference between the intellect and cleverness. We have many so-called intellectual people in our communities who are engaged in harmful practices. But the development of the intellect is which can bring the happiness to oneself as well as to the others. Otherwise, it's only cleverness or crooked intellect which ruins the person also, the society also. Remember, the mind always tries to deceive us. It will give us convincing arguments to lead a comfortable life by applying shortcuts. It does not want to follow any discipline in the name of freedom, prefers easygoing life. Sometimes it forces us even to do wrong things, deviating from the path of righteousness. So that's why we need a strong intellect, which will detect the evil motives of the mind and will assert its strength to follow the right path, which will lead to the real development of the personality. So to develop a strong, discriminative, and determined intellect, it is necessary to cultivate intellectual faculty. Let's look at the fourth dimension also a little bit, the spiritual dimension. Because we all know in this mortal body, there is something immortal, something eternal, of the nature of pure consciousness, bliss, peace, source of tremendous power, energy, knowledge. It is of the nature of effulgent light. It never undergoes any change, free from birth, old age, death. All the divine qualities, such as love, compassion, service, purity, truthfulness, fearlessness, etc., they emerge from that. That is our divine nature. This spiritual dimension is superior to all other aspects of personality. We can have a strong body, clear, calm mind, higher intellect, but we don't know who we are. We didn't pay much attention to it. This dimension, our personality cannot develop. Got to know our divine nature. This dimension is superior to all other aspects of our personality. Lord Krishna says in chapter 3, verse number 42. The subtle organs are superior to the gross body. The mind is superior to the organs, but the intellect is superior to the mind. However, he says, the one who dwells in this body is superior to intellect. Indriyani indriyebhya paramana. Mana astu para buddhyo buddhe para. So the most superior, the subtlest, the divine nature, if we did not pay any attention to that, our personality cannot be developed. This divine dwells within our body. And if we are not aware of this fact, we have wasted another beautiful human life. The physical body is a product of nature, made out of 5 elements, which will go back to its source after death. We know that. But the divine within is entirely separate from the gross and the subtle manifestations of the nature. So physical body is the gross, and the man and the intellect is the subtle. They are all part of the nature. That's why Lord Krishna again and again tells us to realize it. He says, if we stay ignorant, this divinity stays veiled to us. Agyanen avritam jnanam ten muhyanti janvaha. knowledge remains covered by ignorance. And the creatures become deluded. So if we want to develop our personality in the right way, we have to know who we are. Because the moment we remove the screen of ignorance, the knowledge of the Atma will shine forth. It is there. It is hidden in all of us. And once this light, divine light is, we are aware of it, all the great virtues will manifest in our personality. So we got to teach ourselves. We got to teach others also what our real nature is. We got to call upon the sleeping souls to awaken them. But first we have to awaken ourselves. Only then the power will come, glory will come, goodness will come, purity will come, and everything that is excellent will come in the society. When we are aroused, when we are awakened. Let me tell you that it is our birthright to realize this divine within. Those who neglect this vital aspect of personality are the killers of their own self. That's what the scriptures say. The people of gross mind, dull intellect, neglect their spiritual dimension. Because sometimes they just think that it will hamper their worldly affairs. Why waste time, they say. They think that it is meant only for saints and sannyasis to lead this spiritual life. They think they don't need to bother about it. Or some people think that no, in old age we'll do it. In old age, we may not have the stamina, or we may not reach the old age. Right now is the time. The purpose of human life is to manifest this divinity within, irrespective of the caste, creed, gender, color, position, status. All of us. Everyone must struggle to manifest this dimension. How to do it? By removing ignorance. And what is ignorance? Ignorance is nothing but the impurity of the mind. The person of pure mind alone can realize this divine. So we should never deviate from the path of righteousness. We should always remember the 6 enemies: lust, anger, greed, delusion, pride, and jealousy. The moment we drive them away from the mind, the divine will reflect in that pure mirror of our mind. We got to just remove the cloud of ignorance. The sun of knowledge is there. And how to remove these impurities from the mind? That's why Lord Krishna gave us those paths. Path of Karma Yoga, path of Jnana Yoga, path of Bhakti Yoga. And Rishi Patanjali talked about the path of Raj Yoga. And then the other yogis, starting from Lord Shiva, path of Hatha Yoga also. To keep this body healthy, because we need this. So regular practice of all of that And we must spare some time for prayer, meditation, job, selfless service, practice of discrimination. All of that will certainly help us to develop our personality completely. At the end, I would like to say that a harmonious growth of the physical, the mental, the intellectual, and the spiritual dimension is essential for all-around development of personality. See, just like a table which has 4 legs, all 4 legs need to be strong. Otherwise, it will be a wobbly table. That's how our personality should be. Struggle for perfection in all these aspects will ultimately lead us to the development of the real personality. And once we succeed in doing that, there will be a qualitative change. In fact, a tremendous qualitative change in our lives. We'll feel it, others will see it. And they might ask you, how did you do that? Even during greatest of the adversities, how can you stay calm? How can you always make the right decisions? How do you radiate the light? They'll ask you. And if there are more and more such people, our society will be better. Our nation will be better. Our earth will be better. Place to live. Let's end it here with this verse. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaye Purnameva Vishishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.